In this video tutorial, we shall learn how to use one of the most useful functions in Excel. The function is if function. If function is a logical function and this is a great function. You will use if function frequently in your Excel formulas. We have a very simple example. We're going to begin here. Look at this little range. This column shows the actual expenses of a company or of a person. The next column shows the predicted expenses of that company or of that person. There are differences between the actual and the predicted expenses. In the remarks column, I want to use any of these two comments, over budget or OK. When the actual expenses is less than the predicted expenses, then I shall use the OK remark. And when the actual expenses is greater than the predicted expenses, then I shall use this over budget remark. The remarks are here. The range is small, so you can put the remarks manually. But if a range has thousands of cells, then inputting remarks manually is not an efficient way. So here comes the if logical function. Here is the syntax of if function. The function takes three arguments: logical test, value if true, and value if false. Logical test and value if true are required arguments. You have to use these two arguments when you will write if function in a formula. Value if false is not required. So how does this function work? At first, Excel takes the logical test expression. If logical test expression is true, then this value if true will be returned. If logical test expression is false, then this value if false will be returned. Value if true and value if false can be text or numeric values or can be formulas. Let's make the concept clear with some examples. I select the first cell on the remarks column, input equal sign. Every formula starts with an equal sign. Type if. Three functions appears in the drop-down list: if error, and if NA. Right now we are working with the if function. It is selected already. I just press tab. The function is inserted into the formula. Now I click on actual expenses cell, less than sign, then select predicted expenses cell. I put comma, start double quotation mark, type OK. Close double quotation mark, again comma, type over budget in double quotation. So what does this formula mean? Here the logical test is A6 is less than B6. It means if actual expenses is less than the predicted expenses, then logical test will return true. If logical test is true, then OK will be returned. And if the actual expenses is not less the predicted expenses, then the logical test will return false. If logical test is false, then this over budget text will be returned. I int the function with closing bracket, press return. The cell shows over budget. The reason is the actual expenses is greater than the predicted expenses. You know, formula works relatively in Excel. I copy the formula in the cells below. You see, some cells show OK and some cells show over budget. I already have mentioned that value if false is not a required argument. You can use it or not. I want to show what happens when you exclude this argument. Select the first cell again and click on the formula bar. Delete the over budget part from the if function. Press return. You see, the cell shows false. I copy the formula to other cells. You see, the cells that were showing over budget, now they are showing false. So it is highly recommended that you use the value if false argument in if function. I modify the formula again and input over budget. Press return and copy the formula in other cells. Over budget text shows in the cells instead of false. So this is how if function works. This is just basic. Now I shall focus on how you can work with nested if function. This is a simple grading style where if a student gets greater than 80, he gets grade A. If the student gets greater than 70, then he will get grade B. In the same way, for marks greater than 60, a student will get grade C. For marks greater than 50, a student will get grade D, and for other marks, the student will get grade F. Here, F means fail. You see, some marks are here, 85, 95, 45, and so on. We are going to find out the grades for these marks. I have created a formula to find out the grade for the first mark. The formula results in grade F as the mark is not greater than 50. Select the cell, click on the formula bar, and observe the formula. The formula in the formula bar and this formula are same. I copied the formula here to make you understand the concept easily. Let's analyze the formula deeply. The formula has total 4 if functions: 1, 2, 3 and 4. The formula uses only one cell reference. It is H6. Excel will at first work with this if function as it has the deepest parenthesis. Inside this parenthesis, there is no other if function. Statement H6 is greater than 50 is not true, so this if function will return this f value. The function will be like this one internally. Now this if function will work. Statement H6 is greater than 60 is not true, so this if function will return again this f value. The function will be like this one internally. Again the statement H6 is greater than 70 is not true, so this function will return again this f value. The function will be like this one internally. In this if function, the statement H6 is greater than 80 is not true, so this if function will return again this f value. So at the end, you will get result f in the cell. This is how complex Excel formula works. If you break down the formula part by part and analyze the internal states visually, you will master Excel formula very easily. I copy the formula to other cells using the fill handle tool. Let's analyze one more example to make you better understand the concept. I select the formula for score 65. Click on the formula bar. The cell reference is H10 and the value of H10 is 65. Let's analyze the deepest if function. In this if function, the statement H10 is greater than 50 is true. So this if function will return the D value. The formula now looks like this one internally. Now this if function will work. For this if function, the statement H10 is greater than 60 is true. So this if function will return C. The formula now looks like this one internally. Now this if function will work. In this if function, the statement H10 is greater than 70 is not true. So this function will return the C value as this statement is false. The formula now looks like this one internally. Now this last if function will work. Statement H10 is greater than 80 is not true. So the function will return again the C value. Finally, we get the C value in the cell. I expect that you understood how if function works. If not, just watch the video again. When you will work with real-life Excel problems, you have to use this if function frequently. These are the key takeaways from this lecture. You will get the downloadable copy of it with the exercise files and also in the lecture resources window. This summary will help you to grab the overall discussion of the video, print it or use it in your own way.